TV Crazy Man here. In this video, let's go back to the late 80s and 90s with some new goofs I found on Star Trek The Next Generation and some of the funniest bloopers I can find from Tim Allen's Home Improvement. Plus, I compiled the best goofs from the last couple of months from previous videos of Quantum Leap, Sliders, the 90s Superman, and more. Have you ever played Find the Stuntman?
Well played.
I think I found one. That's totally not Data. Of course, maybe Data has a special action mode where his facial features change just a little bit. You know, and you can usually tell too when an actor decides to do their own stunts.
Cut, please. Wow.
At least we're acquainted with the judge, Captain.
You know, I didn't know that Boy George was on Star Trek.
You're out of order!
Found him. Just kidding. That there is your stuntman or stunt woman. I'm not sure because, you know, sometimes stuntmen dress up like stunt women in order to look like women so that they can, oh, I don't know. Of course, that's nowhere near as bad as the time when these two guys were supposed to be Charlie's Angels. Charlie's Angels. Oh, and there was another guy in the back. I don't know what he was supposed to be. Maybe an Elvis impersonator with a mustache? I don't know.
Engage. No, don't engage. Energize. That's what we say in this room. Energize.
Sorry, Captain. Number one. I guess I got sidetracked a little bit. Hey, I think I found another duplicate Data. Or is it Data?
The product continues to upgrade and improve.
Detected some sort of loose...
You know, I think he really could use a stuntman. That fall was not graceful at all.
The question becomes, how? No, it doesn't. The question becomes, why?
You know, sometimes you need a stuntman just to go through a door. Well, was it something I said?
Step out.
You know, he really should get a stuntman.
What are you talking about?
No brain as we know it, yet evidence of thought, Mr. Data?
Insufficient information, sir.
Well, you don't have to be that way about it. I'm just doing my job here.
I'm on my way.
I told you he needed a stuntman. You know, I think he missed. What do y'all think? And Worf, of course, it was still superb acting.
Nice suit.
It looks like Riker and Worf are standing right next to the door. So where did they go all of a sudden?
Is there a problem?
No, I'm just curious.
Then why are you acting so excited?
I don't think he's ever going to give up doing his own stunts. Well, at least he's determined. Well, it wasn't that bad.
Oh, no! Oh, I wasn't looking. It's all over you.
Wow, that's some hot chocolate. It spreads and it spreads and it spreads. Pretty soon it'll be all over the Enterprise.
Backup crew, report to the main bridge.
You're going to separate.
Yes, and I want you to take the starship.
Well, Mr. LaForge.
Jordy, can you give us a...
You know what I really love about these guys is their professionalism.
To emit that tachyon ship beam, ship it down to the ship, and we'll ship it out of here. Here goes.
Hey, wait a minute. You guys are on the wrong ship. Interesting. They don't usually transport the dirt or what the person is standing on with the transportee.
Do not interfere with our transporter beam.
Did you know that whenever someone from the Enterprise leaves a planet, they send a cleanup team to put things in order before they can go?
We've got ourselves a little puzzle, number one.
You know, Home Improvement was one show from the 90s that I really miss.
Who just said that men are conquerors if they have conquered the intoxications? He's a very heavy drinker, Buddha.
Yeah, well, I'm my own wife, and I don't happen to think that...
Pilot, there's people outside of the airplane. You're way too low.
What is the line exactly?
You're certainly not your own wife, I'll tell you that. You can't have people walking around outside of the aircraft.
So thick.
Smelly little rat. Get the bag.
No way!
You reach in there and get Donate a new unwrapped toy to this year's Marine Corps. Hey, Dad. Aren't you supposed to be studying? Marine Corps. This year's Toys for Tots. No, it's the Marine Corps Toys for Tots, and he's getting very angry right now.
I'm also reminded of the Persian writer Kugi Googie. Kugi Googie.
So, I promised my wife we'd have a little I got a big vision. Corn husks.
Must have been too much power. Oh.
Track down exactly what happened. Meanwhile, we're fine. Let's go. All right, take on a test flight, so I took on a test flight. Took her on a test flight, and we flew, and we flew, and we flew, and we landed, and we took off, and went to the Boston Pops. A lot of other things happened.
Requires little things. If Joe left you, you'd do the same thing. Yeah, but all I have to do is call the Holiday Inn down on the off exit 89. I'm excited about this. All I need is a simple job that pays great, requires no training, and fits in with my schedule. You know, I'm getting pretty. This thing is just. Second
marker. Remember the awesome time travel show Quantum Leap? It ran from 1989 to 1993. In the very first episode, I wonder why Al looks like he's standing in a wind tunnel, as if he were actually on the plane with Sam. Isn't he supposed to be inside a holographic chamber in the future projecting into the past as a hologram?
Never mind.
You ever notice that sometimes Al leaves a shadow on the ground despite being an invisible hologram?
Take that back. No.
Also, I wonder if Sam's leaps have any effects on words, because the ones on this plane seem to be backwards.
Now that is insane.
It does seem that there's something wrong with this timeline, as Air Force seems to be written backwards on Sam's helmet as well.
Oh boy.
In this timeline, assistant is apparently spelled with 4 S's. Well, from now on, whenever I misspell a word, I'm going to blame it on time travelers. I wonder how that little baby pig was so clean in all that mud.
Sometimes you just get lucky, that's all.
It's interesting that Sam's reflection is wearing glasses in this scene and he isn't. You know, sometimes you just can't trust a dead guy to stay still in a scene like he's supposed to.
Claridge's wife, and this is his butler.
You gotta be kidding.
He has fun all the time. Not even me. Well, there's a news flash. Between funds.
Well, it's either a time loop or that girl has a twin. You know, Sam Beckett shouldn't be able to bump into Al, but maybe there's more to being a hologram than we know of.
Oh, boy.
Here's another weird, unexplained time anomaly. The dog has pulled the plate of food off the counter, but in the next second the plate of food is back.
Is Ziggy sure about this? Well, as sure as he ever is about anything. Al, I can't be a biker.
Al's clothes are blowing in the wind again.
Where's your sense of adventure? Don't you know what it feels like?
Sam is driving a rich guy around back in 1962, but at least a few of those cars in the background must have been pulled back into time from the 70s and 80s. Perhaps there was more effects to time from the Quantum Leap project than we realized.
That's impossible.
Oh boy.
Can life get any worse than this?
Sam's reflecting his own image again instead of the person that he leaped into.
I'm gonna put you on this end of the barn.
The cuffs fall off the actress, but she and Scott Bakula appear to be pretending that the cuffs are still on to finish the scene. It looks like she's just holding the cuff in her hand.
I can stop the assassination. If Oswald really was the assassin.
Was Al reading Sam's mind here? Because Sam wasn't moving his lips when he says the line, "I could stop the assassination."
I can stop the assassination. If Oswald really was the assassin.
Well, Sam was a really smart guy. It could have been ventriloquism. Ventriloquism? Well, you know what I mean.
Oh boy.
Also in that episode, Al's casting a shadow again, this time on top of Sam. In this scene, those cars are kind of small, but I definitely don't think they're from 1963. The trucks I'm not so sure about. On a side note, this episode and the episode where Sam leaps into Elvis Presley is a couple of my favorite episodes of the entire series.
Where is everybody else?
I think they may have had to cut some corners on the 5th season because that's definitely a fake background. Now who's that reflecting in the window, I wonder? In this scene, Sam is trying to escape from prison. You can see an unexplained hand holding some kind of device on your left-hand side.
Oh boy.
In the episode, Goodbye Norma Jean, set in the year 1960. Sam is driving Marilyn Monroe down the street, but in the background you can see where they've blocked the traffic to do the scene. But all the vehicles that are stopped look like they're more from the 70s and 80s than they would be from 1960. And now it's time for some super goofs and bloopers from the 90s Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman.
Okay, let's get started.
I don't trust her, Clark. I'm gonna find out what she's up to.
I may throw up.
Is this woman...
Also in the pilot episode, Clark's shirt changes color to blue when he walks into the Kent's home, and then back again to maroon. Surely he didn't feel the need to super speed change shirts just to walk into the house.
You've been used, lied to, and manipulated to get me out of the way.
Also in the pilot episode, it appears that I'm not the only one that misspells words occasionally.
So that he could threaten the people of this town. Not this town, it's a big town. It's our town.
Great shades of Elvis.
Oh, gosh, they didn't go.
Here, Dad.
Yeah, thanks. I'm not a doctor's son, but can a person be under so much stress?
In this scene, Clark helps his dad paint the barn, but he forgets to put some paint on the brush. You know, when I paint, I get it on the brush, on the wall, on the floor, on my hands, on my head, on my clothes. Well, you get the picture.
Because that's not me.
On the episode, Wall of Sound, it appears as though Teri Hatcher is reading her lines right off the computer screen.
Put out a couple albums, great reviews, no sales. Heavy into sonic R&D. Had some bad luck financially. Patents stolen, accountants ripping them off.
And she reads the whole thing. And the lines for the next guy, too.
But get this. Stoke and Camden, they worked together once.
Oh, no, Lois, don't.
Sorry.
These are the problems you have.
In the episode, A Bolt from the Blue, Lois and Clark are in a cemetery where solid tombstones sway in the wind.
The end is near. I face the final curtain.
And later, did they make plastic statues at cemeteries in the 90s? Because I don't remember that.
Give me the rifle.
Fine.
Did you catch the sleight of hand in this scene? You see, I think Superman cheated. I think he put the bullet in his own mouth. And now you know how they do the old catch the bullet in the mouth trick. Well, hopefully revealing one of Superman's secrets doesn't make him too mad at me.
I've never believed in killing.
Also in this episode, I noticed Superman was swinging back and forth, almost as if he were on wires. Hopefully Superman doesn't mind me sharing my thoughts. Watch Superman fly off with this guy to the hospital, and then when Lois walks on, we see him blurred out, setting the guy back down again in the background. On the episode Ultra Woman, where Lois gets all of Clark's powers and he loses his, Clark is captured by Shelley Long. Clark is tied to a chair, with a bomb about to go off, and he has no powers. So Clark seems to break out of the chair, and it looks like he got his hands free.
Okay.
But apparently his hands are supposed to be tied until Ultra Woman can release him.
Clark, what happened? Who did this?
I guess that goof just sort of slipped by.
Does that conclude your demonstration?
No, I'm sorry. Let's just cut and do it again.
Do you remember the sci-fi show Sliders about parallel worlds? In the episode Fever, when the Sliders enter a weird restaurant, a crew member accidentally gets shot in the scene. Luckily, he handles it like a pro and doesn't do anything to draw attention to himself. In the Prince of Wales episode, Quinn Mallory and Wade Wells are having a private conversation, or at least they think they are. It's moments like this they're much scarier than the monster episodes they do later on. Quinn and the professor land on the next world with a hitchhiker on the professor's back. Mallory, standing behind the professor, throws a rock, but somehow the rock comes from the side instead of the professor's back. Now mind you, it does make sense that Mallory would be trying to knock the bug off from the side, but the last we saw he was directly behind the professor. Just love the look on John Rhys Davies' face. Don't worry, I'm sure it was a fake rock. That really would have been a goof to find out that they forgot to give Jerry O'Connell a safe prop to throw.
Go away! Stupid idiot.
Quinn Mallory, played by Jerry O'Connell, has been arrested on the episode The King is Back. The Sliders manage to escape, but Quinn lands on the next world still handcuffed. Well, he's supposed to be anyway. As the people of this world laugh at the group as they walk the streets, the professor tells the men to check their flies, which Quinn does despite the fact that he's supposed to still have the cuffs on. We don't see him actually get the cuffs off officially until they get to the hotel a few minutes later. In the episode Indino Veritas, the Sliders land on a world where dinosaurs exist, and San Francisco is a park, where they run into a park ranger who turns out to be a hologram. At the end, when Quinn opens the wormhole, kicking up the usual windstorm, the hologram's hair is blowing in the wind as if she were right there, which goes against all the rules of being a hologram. I guess they were taking their hologram rules from Quantum Leap. I don't know, Rembrandt's face must have been changed by the wormhole thingy. Oh good, he's back to normal. On the episode The Young and the Relentless, the professor, coming out of the wormhole, lands on a lawn chair and smashes it flat to the ground. But when he gets up a few seconds later, it's a miracle, as the seat is up again and looking new. The episode Rules of the Game, sort of a ripoff of Arnold's movie Running Man, has a goof where Wade is in two places at the same time in a firefight.
Thank you.
How does she do that?
You've ripped a hole in the fabric of time.
On the episode Slide Like an Egyptian, this weird looking CGI monster grabs this bad guy, but it looks like the bad guy is moving up to the giant bug before he's even grabbed, which may not be nearly as goofy as the bug itself. The third season unfortunately became more and more about monsters, with a large portion of them being CGI critters. Once the professor quit the show, the focus was on Monster of the Week instead of the focus being on the differences in worlds they slid into. In the episode The Breather, Quinn jumps into the vortex, but you can still see him on your right. Guess it didn't take right away. On the other side, looks like they buried a mattress for Rembrandt to land on. Check out this scene where an actor's playing hide-and-go-seek while he's waiting for his cue to come out. And I bet he was thinking, I thought they'd never get to me. In the episode Dino Slide, a character I basically hated, named Rickman, would run around, stick needles into people, take their body or brain fluid, and then magically take on their shape. Okay, I understand taking the man's appearance, but how does he get the bandana from a shot? What do you think, Professor? Check out this giant boulder in the episode Desert Storm. And check out the curve of that rock that Rembrandt's throwing. Now either he has an awesome curveball, or could be that rock's made out of paper. Now in this scene, the mighty Maggie tackles a man-animal monster hybrid and knocks him to the ground. Somehow. And then it looks like the monster's about to roll over on top of her. But then in the next couple of seconds, Maggie pops up behind Quinn, who's been pointing this gun towards her direction, and she looks like she's come running from behind them from somewhere. Now I don't know about you, but if I was staring at somebody right directly in front of me, and somehow they end up popping up right behind me at the exact same moment, I think I'd be a little shocked.
Stay back. Stay back.
Now in the fourth season, they had some pretty good episodes, especially towards the end, but when the O'Connell brothers quit in the fifth season, that basically marked the end for the show.
Everything I say is right.
Only to bring up the last few hours before Michael disappeared.
If you love time travel as much as I do, and parodies, check out my latest animated video on Freddy Cat Cartoons, where Freddy Cat goes back into time to investigate goofs from the world of the Flintstones that could destroy the space-time continuum. Well, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you liked it and you got a few laughs out of it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Please hit like. Let me know what you thought in the comments. Thank you and have a great day.
Well, that's all she wrote for today.
That's right.